should the government protect the citizens against people that want to use force to take their money?
It is right now.
I agree. And you think it should?
Like I said, I don't see privatizing police anytime in the near future. So that's not something I'm going to advocate for, because it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Okay, but originally I thought you said that the people should protect themselves.
Ideally, yes. I think I'm very pro gun rights. I think people should protect themselves.
Those two things aren't mutually exclusive. You can own guns and still there can be police to protect you if you're overwhelmed.
I think personally protecting yourself is a better way of doing so, because if you call 911, if there's a house intruder, they may take 20 minutes to get to your house. If you have protection right then and there, that's much better and much safer.
Are they mutually exclusive? In other words, if you advocate the citizens being able to protect themselves, does that mean that you can't have police in case the citizen can't protect himself?
Well, I think it's better for the citizen to protect themselves.
Yeah, I agree as well. But the issue is whether it's good for them to have a backup with the police or not.
Well, there's a backup now, but I think some people rely on the police too much, and they say, well, if there's a house intruder, then I can just call 911, and that's not always reliable. It's usually not reliable. I know police officers who say their only job is to clean up the mess. It's not really to protect.
Well, I agree they're not doing a very good job, but we're just trying to figure out should they have a role or not in protecting the citizens. So, for example, a young lady like yourself, would be hard for you to protect yourself against a big guy with, whatever,
yes,
who could overpower you. And is it a good thing that you can call the police and get some help or not?
Well, I rely on self-defense. I have ways to defend myself, even though I am a small woman,
right.
I understand.
And I commend you for that. I think that's very wise on your part to defend yourself and not rely on these police. But is it good for you to have a backup or not?
It's not a very good backup.
Well, they're not doing a great job, I agree.
I'm relying on, no.
But let's say they were performing their job properly, would it be good to have them in case you were unable to defend yourself, and then you had an additional resource besides all the measures of carrying your own gun and everything to defend yourself?
I don't think the alternative has to be government. There are private security firms that could do the same job better than the government.
Okay, so you would prefer there to be no government and have private security firms?
Well, there are already private security firms that people can call up.
Right, and so then there wouldn't be any laws, right?
Well, like I said, I'm a very practical person. I don't think you're going to get rid of the laws. But if you don't think you can defend yourself, there is security guards that you can hire. That's a better alternative than relying on the police.
Yeah, but that's not mutually exclusive. There are security services right now, but ultimately you can rely on the government who has major force to resolve the issues and to come in if you need it. So that's one society. A different society is where there is no government and just people have their own private security companies, and that's anarchy. And that's what we're trying to decide, which you think is better.
Like I said, I'm a very practical person.
And what does that mean? Does that mean that you're in favor of a limited government or anarchy?
Well, I would like to get a limited government. That's a very good step in the right direction.
And then ultimately you think it would be good to have no government at all?
But I don't see that happening in my lifetime.
Okay, but you think it's a worthy goal. You don't see any problems with no government at all?
I think there would be problems with any society, any system. There's going to be problems.
Mm-hmm. Who would resolve the disputes between the security systems, the security agencies?
What do you mean?
Well, different security agencies can have a different opinion on whether you were assaulted or not. They disagree, and then they go to war with each other because there's no major power, no major physical force holder that has a monopoly on major physical force like the government has now to decide. So that ultimately, doesn't that degenerate into gang warfare between security agencies and mafia gangs and whoever else organizes to have force?
I mean, I don't know. I've never lived in anarchy. I don't exactly know how it would work.
Well, and don't you have this other problem where people have disagreements? You're in rational people, good people have disagreements on contracts. Your security system says that you're right. My security agency says I'm right. And so, how do they resolve it? Well, they go to war if we're good clients and we pay them to do it. That's just a gang warfare.
Well, I don't really know what anarchy would be like.
Well, those are some of the major arguments of why people haven't chosen anarchy, and the whole world is divided in governments, is because people are really afraid of anarchy. They've experienced it, and
experienced it.
Yeah, absolutely, in the areas of the world where the government cannot have its influence, you have gangs that control and have warfare regularly amongst themselves, and people, having seen that in history, prefer to have a central power and try to limit it with a constitution like we did in the United States as a better alternative than having a lot of gangs all over the world, all over the country or the area, fighting with each other. So that's one of the problems with anarchy. It degenerates in gang warfare, and people fear gang warfare more than anything else in the world. Even they're willing to take a chance with tyrannical governments. That was Hobbes' position, and that's why he was in favor of the Leviathan, which I think, that's a really bad choice, to have to choose between a tyrant and no government at all. It's possible to have a limited government. So I think those are two of the quick reasons why anarchy is a big problem. The people that are weak and disadvantaged can organize less military power than the others, have a problem, and there definitely would be security system or agencies that would represent or be gangs like the mafia already, and since they don't have a disincentive to have major weapons like they do now, because now the mafia can never overpower the government, the federal government, so they don't even try to buy tanks or airplanes or whatever. But if there's no government, the biggest mafia, the one that has the most military power, will prevail. There's a big incentive for them to have an arms race and resolve things with force and extortion the way they would prefer to do right now, but can't because there's a government.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know what anarchy would be like. It's not something I'm sitting here advocating for. I'm advocating to steps in the right direction and get rid of these really bad laws. It's hard to say what would happen because I don't know.